What is going on, everybody? It is Sam here with BFPGear.com, and today we're going to be looking at the brand spanking new Reflex Shield Harness from Infamous/ProDNA. I've got one of these bad boys right here in my hands. They come in two different designs. Currently, you've got the skull design right here, and then you've got the Sinaloa design. And one thing you're probably going to notice right away with the Reflex Shield Harness is that it's kind of a little bit shiny here on these main pod sleeves. And it's interesting. These have like this kind of like silicone coating to them. And it's basically just there to kind of help wipe off like paint, dirt, debris, moisture, and just wipes off nice and easy. But there's more features about the Reflex Shield Harness. So what we're going to do is we're going to go grab an original Reflex harness. And we got the two Shield harnesses here. We're going to take a look at what is new with the Reflex Shield versus the old Reflex harness. We'll see you guys and gals after the intro. Alright, so I have here the original Reflex harness, and then I've got the Reflex Sport here. These are both going to be strapless harnesses, but the Reflex harness is a little bit cheaper. Reflex harnesses are $109.95, but then the Reflex Sports are only going to be $10 more at $119.95. Now, of course, you get less colors and like designs to choose from, as there's only two right now. So if that's kind of like maybe like a turnoff for you or something like that, you can always pick up the cheaper Reflex harness. But just kind of show off the Reflex harness here. Both of these harnesses are going to carry up to 11 pods. You got 4+7 pod capacity, which seems to be the industry standard. And as you can see here, this pod sleeve, the pod just basically slides in and then it just pops right out. It's going to hold them nice and secure. And then one cool thing that I was kind of hoping they'd bring over to the Reflex Shield harness is the Velcro right here. So unfortunately, there is no Velcro on this one, so that means you can't go and rep like any patches or put patches on, but you can put patches on this one at least. But the nice thing too about the Reflex harness is that you're going to have the Reflex belt system. So both of these are going to boast that. You've got 6 Velcroed straps to basically keep the pod pack firmly secured and tightened around your body. And then this is going to be one of the newer and bigger improvements is the back pad on this. As you can see, you can kind of see it here, but as you can see, you just have this little back pad here that just has a little bit of cushion to it. It's not a whole lot. And this is where you're going to see a lot of the improvements when you move over to the Reflex Shield. So one thing that I noticed like right away too is the pod sleeves on the original harness are a little bit longer, a little bit bigger. I don't know if that's going to be like a pro or a con, but as you can see here, this one's a little bit shorter, and I feel like it's just easier to get pods in and out of it. Like maybe that's a thing, maybe it's not. As for cleaning the pod pack, like I mentioned earlier, you've got this silicone kind of coating on the outside here. So if your pod pack gets hit, you could probably just put a little bit of water on it or just wipe it off and it's clean. You're good to go, which is really sweet. Moving over here to the other side, you still have that same Reflex belt system here. You're still going to have 6 Velcroed belts to keep the pod pack secured to your body. But this one feels nicer. Like it just feels better. And excuse the noise there, but it's like thinner. Like, I don't know, it just feels thinner. It looks better in my opinion, but this is where you're gonna see the biggest improvement once I get done unvelcroing this stuff here. But once you open this thing up, you've got this big cushion of a back pad right here. And this thing just reminds me a lot of the Bunker Kings and the Virtue breakout harnesses where they have that big pillow. This one though is even bigger than those. So those ones will have like a little like kind of, I guess you could say like a diamond sort of shaped pillow. Whereas this one, it goes and just kind of flares out up towards the top. And it is stupid soft how incredibly comfortable this thing is. Super, super cushy. Feels great when you have a pod pack on. And this thing is just absolutely loaded with pods. It feels so, so good. And then you've got even more of this anti-slip material. And it feels just like the silicone that's kind of on the outside of the pod pack. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is kind of like taking over the old Reflex harness, but it's more so kind of like this revision of the Reflex harness. And these are all features that if I saw them on the Reflex harness, I would have been like, yeah, that's the pod pack for me. But seeing this is probably going to be a snap buy for me because I absolutely love these styles of the strapless harnesses, and like this is just ultra soft. I mean, it's ridiculous how soft this is. And that anti-slip material, I just love the way it feels. And of course, you're keeping a lot of those common features like from the original Reflex harness, you know, the Reflex belt system having 6 Velcro straps, carrying up to 11 pods. But now this one's just easier to clean and it's more comfortable. Price point on these bad boys, like I said, $119.95. You've got 2 different styles to choose from. And I think this is probably going to be one of the better strapless harnesses that you can pick up out there. If you need to pick up the Reflex Shield Harness, well, there's one place to go. That's going to be BFPGear.com.